Hey guys, what's up? DarkLord117 here. Coming at you with a video, new segment, I guess. Well, I've been wanting to start doing different types of videos for a while now, and so I'm just gonna start thinking of random ideas to make videos of that aren't just deck profiles, dual videos, and trade binders. So this one is gonna be how to build your side deck. Basically, what I'm just gonna show you a bunch of viable cards that a lot of people put in their side decks lately to combat the meta and just combat the weaknesses of their own decks. So I'm going to start off with monsters that you can run in your side deck. Some viable ones are going to be the hand traps, such as Effect Valor, DD Crow, and Gores. Ones that I do not have to show you that are definitely good to put in are going to be Puppet Plant, Electric Virus, and Max C. So those are all 6 of these are really good hand traps for you to either even main deck, and if not main deck, to side deck. I would say the biggest main deck one is Effect Valor and Max C, but not good in all decks, so you might want to side those just for matches that they are only extremely good against. But I'm gonna go and say it, you probably want to main Effect Valor in almost every deck in the current meta, just because it hits pretty much all the tier 1 decks of Dino Rabbit and Zectors. Well, it doesn't hit Chaos Dragons at all, so that's one of the reasons why you might want to side deck it. Wind-ups, it hits, so it's pretty much a overall good card even for a main deck. But yeah, Effect Valor, just explained it. So DD Crow, I would suggest probably only side decking unless you're running a deck like Piper Chaos, where the level 1 and the Dark both come in handy. So DD Crow is basically for those Insectors, Chaos Dragons, anything that likes to manipulate the graveyard extensively. He's good for removing the Hornet, Red Med from the grave so Light Pulsar can't get it, or even when somebody targets a card with Monster Born, he's good. And Wind Up Hunter is a really good target, so obviously viable card. Gores is just basically can go in pretty much any deck that doesn't have extremely heavy back row hate and like a ton of field spells. So he can go in pretty much any deck that he's viable in. So you want to put this in against like decks like Chaos Dragons just to get the big beater token out and not be able to get OTK'd by them, because they like to explode and just kill you in one turn, so he can stop that. And then cards I don't have is Max C, Electric Virus, and Puppet Plant. Puppet Plant and Electric Virus are basically to steal your monster's card, steal your opponent's cards. Both Puppet Plant and Electric Virus do that. Electric Virus is for dinosaurs and dragons. Puppet Plant's for spellcasters and warriors. So obviously Electric Virus for Dino Rabbit and Chaos Dragons, and Puppet Plant for like such as Samurais, Gravekeepers, Elemental Heroes, stuff like that. So that's it for the hand trap side deck. More monsters you can put in are some just basic side deck monsters such as Thunder King, Kaiku, King Tiger Wangu, and Breaker. This is really all of them I could think of or that I have. Some of them I don't have that are still sort of viable are like Kinetic Soldier, and that's pretty much. I really can't think of anything for just like normal monster, like nothing special about them. Thunder King Rao is probably the most viable out of all these. He can basically, because he's a double-edged sword, he can stop the searching from the deck against heavy searching decks like Heroes, even Insectors with the sword, the Centipede search, and even any deck that just has the dualities in them is just good. And for the main purpose, his ability to negate special summons by attributing himself, which is demolishes people's plans of XYZing, synchroing, and getting their big monsters out by special summoning. So he's obvious, like, should be in a lot of side decks just because of how he can deal with two different situations and even both at the same time. Kaiku is, I decided to mention him because of how big Chaos Dragons are getting and just Twilight Chaos in general. Just he stops your opponent's ability from removing cards from their graveyard and your graveyard from play, so he's really good because they can't use Chaos Sorcerer, BLS, Light Pulsar, things like that remove from the grave, and he's a solid 1800 attack, so they're gonna have to summon a pretty big monster to get over him and use a lot of resources just to kill him and then be able to do their plays, so that's why I like him. King Tiger Wangu, a lot of the top tier decks now are running small monsters with powerful effects. That's seems to be what Yu-Gi-Oh has become in most cases. Windups, Insectors, Frogs, decks like that just have those small attack monsters that special summon a lot to get out bigger monsters with their effects and exceeding and synchronizing, stuff like that. And King Tiger Wangu stops all that, and he's a solid 1700 attack to well, I don't know what I'm saying. So if they can't use their small monsters to get out their big monsters, they're going to have a lot of trouble with taking out Wangu. Then Breaker, because, you know, just simple back row hate in monster form. That's pretty much, he's been around forever, and that's always going to be the reason why he's viable. So yeah, really nice. Last monsters out are like flip effect monsters. I classified these differently because flip effects are a little different from the normal guys and how you need to use them. And new card recently came out, Absorbing Jar and Penguin Soldier. Some other cards I was not able to find at the moment was Snowman Eater and Raikou. So starting off with Absorbing Jar, gonna need a little more explain because a lot of people don't know what this does. It recently came out in Galactic Overlord. Basically, when he's flipped, he is a heavy storm, destroys all spawn traps on the field, even yours. And for how many spawn traps of yours that were destroyed, you draw one card, and your opponent does the same. So I basically like this card because it's level 3, and level 3 exceeds are huge. They're probably the best rank, just most options to go into as of right now. And he's good because you can set him your first turn. Alright, you got that. And you pass with just him. Or you set some back row you want that just isn't very viable to you, that you don't really want. And then your next turn you can flip them up and destroy any cards they set in spawn trap zone, destroy yours, draw your cards, and you're pretty much open to make all your plays you want and go off and deal as much damage as you can. So this card is definitely good against those decks that set a lot of back row and like to sit on what they have and wait for you to make your plays to stop you and then summon their monsters. So that's why I like him. Only downfall is when you flip him, the turn you do that, you cannot set any cards. So that's totally okay because you can just go off with your monsters and even possibly OTK because they have pretty much no protection unless they have Valors or Gores or something. Penguin Soldier, I think a lot of people overlook this card for like cards like Snowman Eater. He is still extremely good in the fact that he's like the counterpart to Snowman Eater, except a little better, in my opinion. I know he doesn't have the 19 defense, but that's really not going to matter because he bounces 2 monsters instead of just destroying one like Snowman Eater. This is extremely good because it gets around Yugioh, big monsters that are hard to summon, like XYZs. Really good against heretics, because if they don't win the turn, they just explode. They're vulnerable and probably gonna lose. So you can bounce their Gaia Drake and anything else that's not the red meds. So yeah, pretty much the same for Snowman Eater. Just attack into him, destroys the Yugioh and any big monster. And then Raikou, same thing, and it mills for you, so decks that utilize the graveyard, like Inzectors, can you possibly get your Hornets in there. And since Inzectors don't really have a big opening play, Raikou is pretty good to set. Alright, so next is spell cards. I'm going to go one by one with this. For back row removal, I would say Night Beam is really viable. Now, just because of Chain Burn, I guess, can't chain to it, the set card, so, but they can chain all the other ones, so that's the downfall. And MST